Everybody. We're going to take a look at some of the questions on the assignment that's about volume when the base is given, but that's not always true for every single question on this particular assignment. So I just wanted to clarify, how do you know which formula to use and when? If we look at question 1, it says the volume of the rectangular prism is given. So we know that we're going to substitute this number right here underneath the V. And we're given the area of one of the bases, and validation or confirmation that that's true is we see this exponent of a 2. So this number gets substituted underneath big B, which remember is the area of the base, is what this represents. What we don't know is the height, and that's what we're trying to find. So for this particular example, you're going to be, again, substituting the volume underneath the V and substituting this number right here underneath big B, and then we'll bring down the variable of h. So to finish this up, you're just going to apply basic algebra. The opposite of multiplying by 120 is to divide by 120, and that will be your answer for number 1, because this will all cancel out. So again, you're taking this number and dividing it by this number to get the answer. So for number 2, you're still going to use this formula, and they do give you the volume. So this number gets substituted right here for the volume, and they give you the height. So this number, you're going to substitute that underneath the h. What they're asking you for is the area of the base. So in other words, I shaded it in red to help you understand that they want that. And it'll be in square inches, by the way. So that's going to be the same kind of thing where you're substituting this here and substituting this here and solving for B. So that's similar to number 1. Now, if we look at number 3, this one's a little bit different. So you would have to know when to use this formula, because remember, there are 2 formulas for prisms. This one for rectangular prisms when you're looking at having the dimensions and not the area, and the other one that we were just looking at just a few seconds ago, if we're talking about finding the base or being given the base. So let's go back to number 3, because this one is a little more complicated because you have so many numbers. So the next step on this would be to go ahead and find what 7 times 3 is, and that would end up equaling 21. And then if you bring down everything that's left, we're really doing 21 times W, and that's going to equal this number right here that they give you in the problem, 378. So the next step is to just apply your inverse operations to finish solving this. So the opposite of multiply a variable by 21 would be to divide by 21. You'll just finish this up by dividing 378 divided by 21, and you'll get one of these answer choices. So for number 4, this one's just a little more complicated, only in that it has fractions in it, and sometimes people get intimidated by that. But they're asking for the volume. You're given the base. This number right here gets substituted underneath big B, and this number gets substituted in as the height because it is perpendicular to the base. All right, so let's set that up for you. We have 9/20 being multiplied with 7/10. And just finish that up and you'll have the answer for that one. All right, I think that gives you a pretty good start on this assignment. There are other videos I'm going to recommend you watch. So remember, even if the prism isn't a rectangular prism, if they give you the area of the base, so maybe I can just call one up here real quick. This one, for example, if they give you the area of the base, you're still going to multiply that by the height. Also, I should probably mention just real quick, if you have to find the volume and you have to choose if there's more than one number given to you, because one of them is going to be the height and you have to distinguish which one it is. And I just want to remind you the best way to think about that, because you really have to visualize a piece of string. So if you put what they're calling the base either on the floor or parallel to the ceiling, and you were going to drape a piece of string, the string would have to be perpendicular. So that means you're going to be choosing this number as being perpendicular, and therefore that would be the height. This is a number that you would not be using to find the volume of this particular one. And if we kind of go backwards and look at this one, just to make sure everybody knows which number to select here. Once again, they give you the base. You're going to substitute that in for big B. That's this number right here. And then you have to choose out of these 2, which one is perpendicular to that. So if we put this on the floor, and we were going to have a piece of string suspended, or I actually brought up to the ceiling that would represent the height, that would be this number right here, because this is really the width of the base, is it not? So this is the number you're going to pick as being the height. So again, you're multiplying this number times this number, substituting in the formula, multiplying those together to get the answer. So don't be distracted by that number. And maybe we should even talk about number 5 real quick. So again, you need to find what number, what edge is perpendicular to the base. So if this is the base, which we're going to use in our formula, this number gets substituted right here, but you have to figure out what the height is. And the height has to be perpendicular. So picture this on the floor. If we were going to suspend a piece of string aiming for the ceiling, then that would be this number right here, because this is not perpendicular. See, that's kind of parallel, right? So you want this number as your height. Reject that number. You're not using it in the formula. All right, so I think that should get you going on the homework. If you have other questions, make sure you shoot me an email.